Home Assistant and AutoSSH. So how to not to pay for NabuCasa. I would start this tutorial with disclaimer. NabuCasa is a great product and cares quite well for security and convenience of use. It is also not expensive. This tutorial is for people who have basic technical knowledge about web hosting, already have host some websites or apps, or know how to protect them against malicious actors. It's also not worth to follow this tutorial if you don't have VPS or cloud subscription for other purposes. You would pay for infrastructure more than you would for NabuCasa subscription, especially if you have single Home Assistant instance. Okay, let's start. First of all, you need to install SSH server. You need some Linux rig and let's say it is Ubuntu. Type apt update, apt install y OpenSSH server. The second thing you have to do is to create user account for SSH sessions to be executed. It would have no permissions, even for command line access. Calling this user Home Assistant is a good choice. Then you have to create folder to store SSH client keys. SSH folder in your user home directory is a good choice because we need this user to have access there. Another thing to consider is to generate server signature keys. This piece of work would protect you against server failure. So once it would fail, you'd be able to restore it without reconfiguring all of the clients. Okay. Next step is to modify etc ssh deconfig. First, configure port. Configure it to anything but 22 because 22 is targeted by hackers. It would make you a little bit more secure. Second, set PubKey authentication to yes because our client would authenticate with a public key. Disable password authentication. No one would connect with password to this SSH server instance. Next, configure host keys, the keys that encryption keys that you just path to the encryption keys that you just generated. Then we have MIT. So we need to allow TCP forwarding. We have permit tunnels and permit gateway ports. The last one would allow to connect from outside to your SSH server instance. We don't like X11 forwarding, no UI, and we need to disallow SFTP connections. Let's go to the Home Assistant instance. First thing you have to do is to install AutoSSH community add-on. Open your Home Assistant, open settings, go to add-on list and click add on store. Then you would find 3 dots in upper right corner. Click repositories, then add a repository to Thom Dietrich Home Assistant add-ons. You'll see link on the screen. Now let's get back to the add-on store, find SSH tunnel and forwarding add-on, install it and go to configuration tab. There are a couple of fields. Hostname. This is address of your SSH server. SSH port, the port that you configure to accept SSH connections in SSH deconfig, unless you have some port forwarding rule. Username, the username that you configured in the first step. Remote port. This is the port where SSH server would, from where SSH server would forward route to your Home Assistant. Remote forwarding. You have to leave this field blank, but there is a bug in this add-on. You have to actually add something first, type something, strike enter, and then remove added value. Otherwise, error would be reported. There are also fields other SSH options, ignore it for now. Okay, now let's get back to Info tab on add-ons details. Now you click Start, go to Logs tab. Your add-on would collapse. Review logs and find line that contains a fragment that you can see on the screen. Your public key should be right behind it. It starts with something like SSH ed25519 and ends up with something like hasIO setup via AutoSSH. Copy it and go back to SSH server and copy it to authorized case files, to a new line in there. This file is placed in home directory of your user under the SSH folder, .ssh folder, the hidden one. Now you have to restart your SSH server and start AutoSSH add-on again. Now root from your remote port in your SSH server is redirected to Home Assistant, but you are going to receive 403 error. To fix it, you have to edit configuration.yaml file in your Home Assistant. You need file editor add-on available in official HA add-on store. When you would open it, just add section visible on the screen. You have to literally type your local Home Assistant IP address in it, as well as 207.0.0.1. Right now, Home Assistant is available in internet, but communication with it is not encrypted. It is also not protected against brute force attacks. Check your hosting documentation to find best practices in this area. I personally host my SSH server on Google Cloud and use their Cloud Armor protection. It is not a recommendation, it is just what I do. Thank you for your attention and have fun.